And for example, when we give our information and analysis of what's happening in the high north and Arctic is where we have also special experiences, so that has been very well received. I also would say it's not like it's a one-way street, as the Secretary General said about Gotland and having the possibility in the Baltic Sea for also our troops to show that we have a strong defense. I would remind that Sweden has increased our military spending since 2014, when the annexation of Crimea and so on, with 80%. That's quite a high increase in our military spending.
We'll go to Kauppalehti, the lady in green.
Thank you. Sara Koho. I work for the Finnish paper Kauppalehti. As we all know, Secretary General, Russian President Vladimir Putin has demanded that NATO stops expanding in Europe. However, in a recent interview, the Finnish President Sauli Niinistö had with a German newspaper Zeit, he said that in his interpretation, the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has withdrawn these demands when it comes to Sweden and Finland. And I would like to know if you share his interpretation. Has Russia withdrawn its demands?
What we have seen is what they have proposed in the proposals for legally binding agreements or treaties between NATO and Russia, and that was submitted to us some weeks ago in parallel with the proposed treaty between Russia and the United States. So there are two proposals on the table for legally binding agreements between Russia and the United States and Russia and NATO. And in the treaty with the proposed draft treaty with NATO, it is clearly stated that there should be no further enlargement of NATO with any country. So based on that, it is clear what what Russia has demanded, and we are ready to sit down and discuss many issues with Russia on arms control, transparency, and the security situation in Europe, including the situation in and around Ukraine. But we are not ready to discuss core principles for European security. And as the Finnish president has stated, and many other leaders, both in Finland and Sweden, have stated, is that it is for Finland to decide if they want to apply for membership in NATO, and then it's for Finland and 30 NATO allies to decide finally on the issue of membership. And that's exactly the same for Sweden. So I just base my assessments on what Russia has put forward in a written proposal for a legally binding agreement banning any further enlargement of NATO. And my message is that NATO's door remain open, and then we will respect sovereign independent decisions by sovereign independent countries like Finland and Sweden on whether they would like to apply for membership or not.
Okay, I see one more question here, and then we'll take a couple online. Gentleman over here.
Heikki Piola from MTV Finland. USA and United Kingdom have started already to move family members of personnel to leave Ukraine. Should all NATO and EU members do now same order?
This has to be a national decision. We share information among NATO allies. We also share information with the close partners as Finland and Sweden. We have NATO personnel in Kiev. We have 2 NATO offices in Kiev. We have, of course, assess and follow the situation closely, but we have not made any decision to withdraw those people working for NATO in Kiev.
Okay, we'll go online to Club Z Media Group, Momchil Injov.
Thank you. My question is to Secretary General. As it became clear today, and you told it recently, the NATO allies began to send more ships and jets to enhance deterrence and defense in Eastern Europe. And are there any plans to deploy immediately more troops in the southeastern flank of NATO, especially in Bulgaria, Romania, and Turkey? And has NATO made a new risk assessment? And if so, could you please specify? Thank you.
Also, we are constantly assessing the risks, and we are constantly sharing information among allies, and we have stepped up our capabilities to collect information. One of the reasons why we have increased our presence in the Black Sea region is just to be able to monitor and to follow the situation very closely, to collect more information. So our presence, our increased presence in the eastern part of the alliance, and in particular in the Black Sea region, is partly to collect information, to assess the situation very closely, but also, of course, to be able to respond to any situation that will require a response from NATO allied countries. So I think this is prudent behavior. What we do is defensive. It's proportionate, and it's fully in line with our international obligations. And of course, the NATO presence is in no way threatening, because it is, compared to the significant military buildup by Russia in and around Ukraine, a very limited presence, but it sends a strong signal and message of our unity and our resolve to protect and defend all allies. We are considering to further increase our presence also in the southeast of the alliance, and we are considering also to have battle groups not only in the Baltic region but also in Poland, but also in the southeast of the alliance. But no decision has been taken. We will assess and make the decisions when the time is right.
Next question online goes to Terry Schultz from Deutsche Welle.
Hi, thank you very much. This is a question for all three officials there. I just came back from Sweden, as a matter of fact, and it was explained to me that the country feels secure without NATO membership because there are so many partnerships, and also because of the fact that if Gotland, for example, were attacked, it would be in NATO's own interest to come to the defense of Sweden. So do all three of you agree that that is enough of a security guarantee without Article 5 for this region? And then just a second question, because of course I'm reporting for Germany. Mr. Secretary General, are you appointed in Germany for the comments of the naval chief? For the comments of the naval chief that said that Russian President Putin deserves respect, and also in its refusal to allow military equipment from Estonia to be delivered to Ukraine, as Finland, in fact, has allowed. Thank you very much.
Also, first on the Article 5, I think I will leave it to the Finnish and Swedish foreign ministers to reflect on that. As I said, we have extremely close partnership with both Finland and Sweden. Then, of course, there is a difference between membership and not membership, and that is something Sweden and Finland has to assess and make their own decisions. We will not interfere or try to influence those discussions in Finland and Sweden. We respect their decisions. Then on Germany, also Germany is a NATO ally. They have agreed to send the same messages as we have done in NATO over some time now, with both the message of readiness for dialogue with Russia, the NATO-Russia Council, and we are now working on our written proposals that we will convey to Russia in the near future. And Germany is, of course, strongly part of that, but Germany is also part of the increased presence in the eastern part of the alliance. Germany is leading the battle group in Lithuania, and what we do now is that we are stepping up within existing NATO frameworks, the air policing, the standing naval forces of NATO, and other existing NATO forced structures. And again, this is something Germany has agreed to, and Germany also contributes. So NATO allies are united in their response to the threatening Russian military buildup, both when it comes to dialogue, but also when it comes to sending a message of unity and strength.
From the Finnish perspective, Finland, of course, is a democratic country, and our decisions are based on the opinion of the people and political parties. The majority has not been in favor of the NATO membership, but for the close partnership with NATO, which we currently have, and our defense doctrine builds on maintaining a strong national defense capability. We have a conscription army, we have 280,000 reservists in Finland. We have just made a decision to renew our fighter capacity to F-35 and so forth. And of course, we are increasing our preparedness and readiness whenever there are new security concerns. We have been investing also quite a lot to tackle the new kinds of hybrid and cyber threats. But the close cooperation with NATO, of course, is something that people support.
And I would say that, of course, every country has to see what is the best way of keeping our country and our people out of war, what will keep them safe. And that is how you determine what kind of security arrangement you want to have. And for us in Sweden, we are military non-aligned, and that is something that has served us very well during very, very difficult times. And we think it still serves us well, together with a strong defense. And I just mentioned here earlier, since 2014, we have increased our defense spending with 80%, and with close cooperation with other partners. We have about 20 agreements with countries, NATO countries, other countries, organizations, and the closest partnership we have is with Finland.
Thank you very much. This concludes this press conference. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
That's the message that enhancing internal resilience based on a strong